Hello YouTube, it's Zoe at Hunt's Urban Prepsteaders, and today is a really quick little video for you on how to make apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar is just such an amazing thing, and you need it to be really healthy. You need it to have all the probiotics in it, which is the mother, which is inside it, and it's actually quite expensive to buy like a really nice apple cider vinegar. And it works out quite expensive, but it's something that we should all have in our diet pretty much every day. I have a shot of it every day. Not only can you use it to have a shot, but it's good for your skin if you want to use it. It's a great hair conditioner. That's for another story. And it's great, and I use loads of it. I get through tons of it, and I like to use the really pure stuff because I make loads of chutneys and lots of preserves, and so I get through tons of it. And it's like, after I've got the allotment, we've got this lovely apple tree on our allotment, which I've mentioned before, and I've done quite a lot of preserving of the apples, and I've got apples, and I have like an afternoon where I'm making apple sauces and apple pie fillings that I can ready for the winter and stuff. And I'm left with so many apple cores and apple pieces left over that I thought I'd give it a go, and it is so simple. And it's so quick. You'll see when you watch this video, this is a really quick little video on how to make it. So what you're going to get is, what you literally need is, you need just 3 ingredients: water, sugar and apples. And that's it. And just a bit of time and a little bit of patience. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope this inspires you to do it. I literally now have like it in the different stages on the go in my house all the time. I've got like one fermenting away, I've got one that I've drained off that's like proving, and then I've got the one on the go on the side, and I get through tons of it. And it's just such an easy and effective, cost-effective way of using your pieces of apples, less stuff to throw away. So like I say, I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it inspires you to get on and have a go at making your own, and see you at the end. Okay, so here we are at stage 1 on how to make apple cider vinegar, and I've just decided to do this today because I've been making a chutney and I used a lot of apple and squash chutney, and I've got loads of peels. Now, to make apple cider vinegar, as you can see here, I've got a jar, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. See my sink, I've got a drinks thing in it. I've got this box here where I can see it. So I've got a jar here, and in here they've just gone a bit brown because they've been sitting there for a while. Loads of apple peels, a few cores, a couple of bits chopped off of the apples I used, and I fill it up. And you fill up your jar. You need like one of these mason jars that you can take a top off, that you don't want to have a top, quite a large jar, because you're not going to be needing a top for it. So then what you do is we have all this, your apples in here like this. So now we're going to add, for every cup of water, we add I'm trying to do this one-handed. Every cup of water we're going to add, you can either add honey, you can add sugar. Here I've got like a brown sugar, as you can see, and I'm going to add, you add a tablespoon of sugar for each cup of sugar, for each cup of water. I've got a spare one here in my Star Wars mug, Millennium Falcon mug, very nice. And so we can stir that in. I quite often use honey. I've got a nice honey and manuka honey. Now, they say on most recipes that you use like 1 spoon per 1 cup, but even if I'm going to top it up, I'm just going to use 2 because I like to keep the sugar down as much as possible. So what we do then is we're going to pour the liquid on top and hope that you just want to cover it. As you can see, that hasn't covered it yet, so I'm going to put another cup of water on top. So for my one, it's about 3, and measure it out. That should be enough water. Just another little sprinkle of sugar. And that really is how you do the first part. I'm making a mess here, and so it's like dark kitchen again. So here we have the jar. Now, with this, you can leave it like this. You can push it down. It will all rise. Push it down into the thing. Or I have a weight. I prefer it with a weight because what happens is if you don't use it with a weight, you're going to need to be checking it like every couple of days to make sure you push it down or you mix it in, or the very top of the apples can go mouldy. So I like to use a fermenting weight and just weigh it down. So now you can see that liquid is going over the top. Now, another sneaky trick you can do with making apple cider vinegar is you just have, here's one I made earlier, another week ago. I'm just going to top it with some old apple cider vinegar. Get that in there, actually. Let's stir that in. Stir that in like that. And that's the first part of it. Then what you're going to do is we're going to cover this with a muslin cloth and an elastic band, and you're going to want to put it in a warm, dry place. Now, if you've got an airing cupboard or somewhere like that, it's a really good place to put it. But if that's not the case, if you haven't got a place like that, then I'm getting a very good focus on it here. If you haven't got an airing cupboard or somewhere like that, I actually put mine, I've got a shelf just above my tumble dryer, and it works really well on there because I've always, especially this time of year, I've always got my tumble dryer going, so it gets a lot of warmth up there, keeps it warm. And you want a dark place as well, so because mine's actually on a shelf in the kitchen, I wrap mine in a cloth. So I'm now going to get the top on here and I'll show you it after. Okay, so here we are now with the jar all ready, and we've stretched a muslin cloth on it, no lid, and it's got an elastic band around it just to hold it on. You're going to want this to breathe because you're fermenting, and this is going to bake about 2 weeks. And I forgot to say, the reason why you top it up with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and it has to be apple cider vinegar with the mother in, is because that mother will go in and make it work a lot quicker. It will start the fermenting process and it will help produce a much healthier, better apple cider vinegar. So here we go. Here are all those offcuts of apples. Now, you can do this with whole apples if you want to do it. If you're not like cooking apples and you're just like, oh, do you know what, I really want to make it, but I haven't got a load of apple peels. Or you can do it with apple peels and apple cores, offcuts. You can even do it with the ones that fall off the trees, as long as you've cut them through and check that you've taken out any maggots or anything. So it's really great for using leftover bits of apples and everything like that. So now we're going to put this in the warm, dry place, and I'll check on it every couple of days. Just push it down, especially if you haven't got a weight on it, and see how it goes. And I'm going to come back and we'll have a look at it in a week's time. But it usually takes about 2 weeks to do, and then we take it on to the next stage. So I'll see you. Be a second for you, but it'll be 2 weeks for me, or a week for me, and we'll see you then. Welcome back. Well, it's only been a couple of seconds for you, but it's 2 weeks later for me, and we are 2 weeks later with the apple cider vinegar. So let's see how it's gone. So this has been standing on above the tumble dryer, and I've had it wrapped in a cloth, and we've had the muslin cloth over the top. And so here we go. Now, this is really good. It looks horrible. I'm going to pick it off, and this is like, they call it a SCOBY, but this is your mother. So this is what it looks like, and this is all those bacteria that you want to grow. Now, you don't necessarily get it, especially when you start doing it, but what I do is I keep mine in a jar. So I've got some in my jar in my fridge, and I add a tiny little bit inside the next one, which I did there, or you can add a little bit of apple cider vinegar with the mother. You won't always get this, but this is a really good sign. That means it's full of bacteria that you wanted. So now I'm just going to pour this through, and we get the weight out. Let me just pick that out, my weight. Chuck that in the sink. We're going to pour this through. Oh, and leave that to soak. Now, a lot of this can go, it's going to be able to go in the compost, or if you've got chickens, give it to the chickens. It's still full of goodness for them. And I'm going to get rid of that. Let me just get a bowl for that. Push that through a bit more. I'm just going to push it down a bit just to get some more, the last of the liquid out of it. And there we go. We're now going to transfer this into another jar. You could put it back in the old jar, rinse that out and put it, but I find there's a lot less liquid, so I'm going to put it in one of these mason jars, but I'm going to use the ring without the lid, and I'm going to use a fresh muslin cloth to go over the top. So we're just going to pour this in here without spilling it. Yeah, you know that's going to spill. I'm actually going to just put a very tiny bit of the mother back inside it again, just to help with fermenting. Very small part of it just in there. So now we're going to leave this. We're going to cover this with another cloth because it needs to breathe. I'm going to put the lid down on it, and I'm just going to keep this in a warm, dry place in the dark. I'm going to wrap it in another cloth, and it will be in 2 weeks' time. You're going to be able to decanter this out into a bottle, and you've got perfect apple cider vinegar. So there you go. Really, really simple. How to make apple cider vinegar. Nice big jar of it out of the old scraps of your apples or any old apples you got, all the cores and everything. And thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and catch you next time. Bye.